All right, before you start Googling or asking your favorite AI about homes for sale in Crested Butte and fantasizing about skiing during your lunch break or maybe taking a hike during your lunch break, let's talk about the money. Because one of the most common questions I get almost every single week is some version of, can I actually afford to live there? And that's a very fair question, and it's a very important one as well. The cost of living in a mountain town like Crested Butte is very real, and I'd rather give you an honest picture up front than have you find out after you've made the move. So today we're gonna walk you through what it actually costs to live here, not the fantasy version, the real version. And stick around to the very end because I'm gonna tell you who I actually think thrives here financially and who struggles, because that answer actually may surprise you. I'm Heather with Living in Crested Butte, Colorado, and if you've been thinking about making a move to Crested Butte, Gunnison, or any of the surrounding areas, go ahead and subscribe below so that you can be the first to learn about the ins, the outs of our area, including the current real estate market. I love helping people just like you, so whether that is in 60 days from now, 6 months from now, you're moving across the world, across the country, or just up and down the valley, feel free to give me a call, text, or an email. All of my contact information is in the description below, and I'd love to make your move everything that you want it to be. All right, number one is the cost of being remote. Here's the thing you need to understand before we get into any other specific category. Everything costs more here in the mountains, probably more than what you're used to. And that's not a knock on our area, it's just simply the reality of being in a remote and mountain community. Getting goods and services here costs more, operating a business here costs more, and those costs get passed on in some way, shape, or form to the consumer. Once you factor that in as a baseline, the rest of this video will make a lot more sense. All right, housing. This is a big one, so let's just get right into it. Buying in Crested Butte can be sticky. Crested Butte has been one of the fastest appreciating real estate markets in Colorado over the last several years, especially since the pandemic. We have very limited inventory. We are surrounded by public land, which restricts growth, and demand has been very strong. What that means practically is that real estate in the town of Crested Butte is expensive. And I mean, it can come with a price tag. Entry-level condos start at a price point that surprises most people, and single-family homes in a town are well above that. The more desirable location, views, proximity to trails, or lot size, the higher the price goes. Up in Mount Crested Butte, the resort side of things, you'll find more condos, townhomes, and with a wider range of price points, though ski and ski out properties still carry a premium. Down Valley in Gunnison, prices are significantly more accessible, and it's only about 30 minutes to Crested Butte. So a lot of people make that trade-off, and it works really well for them. Renting here is something to discuss as well. So long-term rentals are very tight because inventory is limited and competition is very real. Prices are going to reflect that as well. So if you're relocating and planning on renting first, my advice to you is to start your search very early and have a backup plan. All right, next on the list are groceries. So in the town of Crested Butte, we have Clark's Market. It was beautifully remodeled a few years ago, and it is a wonderful local grocery store. The selection is more curated than you'd find in a larger city, and prices are going to reflect both quality and the cost of getting goods to a remote town. When locals need to do a bigger shopping haul, Gunnison is where we go to. There's a city market, there's a Safeway, there's our natural grocers. You are going to get more variety and generally a little bit better pricing. So most locals are going to get into the rhythm of grabbing everyday stuff or a few things here and there at Clark's and doing the bigger runs in Gunnison. It becomes pretty second nature really quickly. All right, gas and transportation. So we have two gas stations right here in Crested Butte. We have Ace Hardware and the Gas Cafe. There are no gas stations up in Mount Crested Butte or in CV South, so you want to plan accordingly when you're moving in and around the valley. Gas prices here are typically a little higher than the state average. Again, it's the cost of getting that good in supply up here and being remote. The good news is that there's a free bus system, the RTA, that connects the towns of Mount Crested Butte to Crested Butte and then also into Gunnison. In the winter especially, a lot of people get by without driving daily. But if you're commuting to and from work or making regular trips, this is a very car dependent area, and especially beyond the immediate valley, you're gonna want a car. Next up are utilities. So we sit at almost 9,000 feet in elevation, and heating is a real budget item here. So whether you are on propane, natural gas, or electric, your bills are gonna be a little bit more during the colder months. So you're gonna wanna budget for it. Newer construction does tend to be a little bit more efficient, and older homes, especially those charming Victorian era properties in downtown Crested Butte, can cost a little bit more to heat and maintain. All right, dining and entertainment. What is that like here, and what's that gonna run you? Crested Butte has a fantastic restaurant scene for a town of this size. So we have really great food and a lot of variety for somewhere so small. But eating out is not cheap. Labor's hard to find, and the cost of goods, again, are higher. The operating season for most restaurants can be a little bit compressed too, so they're gonna be closed in the off seasons. So, but regardless, budget around about $100 for a nice dinner out for two. The entertainment side is actually one of the better values here, because a lot of what makes this place special are the trails, the mountains, the wildflowers, the community events. Some are free and some are very low cost. People here tend to spend less on stuff and more on experiences. And most of those experiences are right out your door. All right, services and everything else. So we're talking contractors, plumbers, electricians. We have a limited supply of that trade here, and the rates can reflect that. So if you're planning on doing a renovation or needing any specialized work done, you're gonna budget more time and a little bit more money than you would elsewhere, or maybe where you're relocating from. Healthcare. We have a great hospital here in the Gunnison Valley, and it offers a solid range of care, including some specialized services. But for more complex needs, you're gonna go to Montrose or Grand Junction, and that's a little bit of a drive away. So something worth factoring in depending on your situation. All right, so next up, so what do you actually need to make it here? This is a question that everyone really wants answered. And the honest answer is, it's more than what you expect when you first started researching the area. But it also really heavily depends on, are you buying, are you renting, are you moving here with a family, are you moving here solo, do you have roommates, what does your lifestyle look like? I can tell you what I have seen consistently over 20 years is that people who thrive here financially come with a plan, not just a dream. So if you want to talk what those numbers actually look like for your specific situation, that's exactly the conversation that I have with people all the time, every single week. So reach out and let's talk. All right, last but not least, who actually thrives here financially? Here's what I've seen in the time that I've been in this valley. People who thrive here financially tend to fall into a couple of categories. People who can work remotely because they can bring in a higher income into a local economy, and this has been a massive shift, especially since the pandemic. It's also people who own real estate because appreciation has been strong, and vacation rental market is also pretty robust. People who are also resourceful and adaptable, and that makes up a lot of our community. People who shop smart, maintain their own property where they can, and find real value in the experiences that this place has to offer. And it's also people who come here with realistic expectations, not expecting big city amenities at small town prices. The people who struggle are usually the ones who move here impulsively without a plan and without an honest look at what it actually costs to live here. All right, hopefully this gives you a much clearer picture of what living in Crested Butte actually costs. It's not cheap, the payout is huge, but for the right person with the right plan, it's absolutely worth every penny. So if you're thinking about making a move to Crested Butte, Gunnison, or anywhere in the valley or any of the surrounding communities, and whether you're moving here in 60 days from now or 6 months from now, I would love to help you think through what this actually looks like for your situation. Feel free to call, text, or email. You can even set up a Zoom appointment with me if you'd like, All of my contact information is in the description below. And if this video helps you out, hit the subscribe button. I put out new videos every week about living here, the real estate market, and what mountain town life actually looks like. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, so it looks like you're making a move to Crested Butte or Gunnison, Colorado, and you're trying to decide which video to watch. You could watch this one, or you could watch this one, or you could watch both, because they're both really going to help you out, and they're both really good. But go ahead, just pick one.